Hi, I'm Marcello Esteves. Michelle Ross, Will Wright, Rob Younger, and I would like to thank you for taking the time to learn about Bean Bibs, which is our Carson College of Business Capstone A project. I would like to tell you about my friend Mark Smith. Mark is a 45-year-old male, is married with two daughters, currently resides in San Diego, California. He's an IT senior engineer at Qualcomm, holds a master's degree from San Diego State University, has an annual salary of $110,000, and currently cycles to work daily and enjoys mountain trail biking on the weekends. He has been riding for 25 years, owns two bicycles, belongs to a cycling club, is active in the cycling community and events, owns 5 different pairs of cycling bibs currently, and he truly believes that cycling keep him in shape, releases his stress, it gives him a way more balanced life, it connects him to nature, and it's also a great form of exercise. Mark is creative, stick with things, and is very goal oriented. He loves technology and is an avid online shopper. He writes online reviews and is always seeking out the latest advancements. He's a savvy shopper and does compare quality, features, and prices before making any decisions. He also believes that environmental friendly products should be the market leaders, and he's focused on those as well as new and innovative products. Mark is a little older, and when cycling, he has started to experiencing some issues during the past year. He finds that now sometimes he lacks energy. He's on occasion experiencing dry skin, soreness, and inflammation. He gets fatigue and has some regular discomfort, and he's having some odor problems. Mark hasn't been able to cycle as much recently because of those new issues. This has left him unhappy, he's way less motivated as a result. His work is also suffering. He has gained weight and has found a life way more stressful recently. With that, his marriage is also feeling the pressure. He doesn't feel as connected to nature as he felt before. This is the kind of problem that Bean Bibs is designed to solve. Through the use of coffee fabrics and proprietary microbead additives, Bean Bibs cycling wear can help users to get away from pain and discomfort and back into their bikes. With that, our mission is that we strive to create a thriving community of strong and fearless cyclists by designing specialized apparel that motivates you to never miss a ride. Our vision is to naturally reduce cycling pain to create more strong and fearless cyclists. Bean Bibs creates value by improving cycling wear through the natural odor reduction properties of coffee fabrics. The high carbon fabric allows for microbead supplements to be added to the fabrics, and the intrinsic benefits of those compounds will provide benefit to the wearer for well over 100 washes and cycles. Not only that, our garments are designed as a premium class leading option, and it will be the only one that cyclists will reach for time and again before heading out for a ride. Now, I'm going to be turning things over to Rob to talk about our testing methods. Rob?
Thanks, Marcello. During the course of our business creation, we utilized many methodologies to ensure that we were designing and building a product that consumers would want, the market would support, and one that will generate profits. So the first thing that we did was to build our hypothesis around an unmet need in the cycling community. We believe that cyclists will gravitate toward the benefits of a unique bib that's fashionable, that's functional, and that's comfortable. Ultimately, our value proposition came to be materialized in the following. Bean Bibs is a new product line that will cater to the unique needs of the cycling community. Product will be the highest quality, combine natural properties of coffee fabrics with the added benefits of other compounds that consumers want in their activewear to reduce odor, soreness, and rash. We next work to identify our customer segments and to define our customer archetype. What we determined was our average customer is a male, that he is 35 to 65 years of age, that he is well educated, is an urban or suburban dweller, earns more than $75,000 a year, is not a novice, somebody who has cycled for at least 5 years, someone who cycles long distances, and someone who prefers either local shops or online shopping. We saw that online sales were important and would provide the highest margins, but that local bike shops will be important to reach customers initially. To do this, we'll need to create agreements with dealers and the sell wholesale as well as retail through our online channel. We need to be proactive in our strategies on social platforms, including online reviews. We will sponsor some local rides and organizations to build awareness, and we plan to expand to female customers and to crossover segments like activewear, yoga wear, and we believe that our initial phase of customer acquisition will cost about $30,000 in marketing expense. In terms of managing social platforms, one of the things that we want to ensure that we're doing is to mitigate any negative reviews that might come out so that we are responding directly to customers, not to necessarily say that the reviews are invalid, but to deal with those things head on and ensure that we take ownership for any areas where we might be failing the expectations of our customers. Our revenue streams will be transactional. We determined that customers would be willing to pay $150 per garment. We'll have a fixed menu pricing, and depending on the exact feature of the particular garment, will dictate the price variability. It was clear customers will pay more for performance and relief, and our gurus thought that price points could be even higher than the $150 price point that we established. We believe that we will be able to sell direct, that we will be able to establish distribution to local bike shops and to major retailers. We also know that we will need to have key partnerships in the areas of fabric supply, garment assembly, packaging, and logistics. Raw textiles, design engineers, manufacturers, assemblers are key resources for creating finished products. Once those products are created, the logistical partners for freight, warehousing, customer shipping will be of utmost importance. Finally, the online advertising, website development, online payment processing will all need to be streamlined and relied upon to optimize sales and profits. To get our product to market, we have to deliver it, raise funds, put the supply chain pieces in order, and then develop and execute our customer acquisition plans. We believe that all of these things will require investment from each of the 4 owners of $45,000 to $50,000 each, and that we can achieve a total manufacturing cost of $17 per unit on day 1. By targeting a 3x manufacturing cost for our wholesale pricing and then a 3x wholesale pricing for retail pricing, we can see that with a 10% direct sold and 90% distributor sold ratio, we can achieve just under $450,000 in sales and operating and marketing expense of just under $100,000 during our initial product run. Here's how it all comes together. So these are the folks that were gracious enough to help us with the majority of information we collected as we tested our hypothesis and business plans. And now, Michelle is going to talk about our building block tests and conclusions.
Thanks, Rob. Over the course of our business creation, we conducted many interviews around our value proposition. I'd like to share some of that data with you now. First, we wanted to make sure that we understood what customers wanted. One thing that became apparent is that the sustainability of the product was not as important to customers as we'd originally hypothesized. Customers self-medicate today for the issues they're facing. The items in the left column are the most common concerns they are looking to alleviate. And they do care a bit about color and style, but those are secondary concerns. We next verified the validity of solving for these issues through our proposed product, and also that the product would meet the customer needs and that they would indeed be willing to purchase it. From here, we went through additional pass-fail testing to ensure that we were focusing on the correct issues, that the product design was the right one, and that we had correctly prioritized the issues customers are facing. We examined some areas that were of lesser concern to customers to determine if we should be focusing on them from a value proposition standpoint as well. From here, we dove deeper into customer testing. Many potential customer interviews were conducted as well. This helped us to define our customer archetype, as Rob illustrated earlier. Here you can see graphical representation of that data. The testing also helped us to see where we should be focusing our customer acquisition efforts. We know that we need social and local evangelists to act as our early evangelists. We plan to sponsor local clubs and athletes in an effort to build these segments. We may even conduct special club orders, limited and logoed product offerings. In the end, this is what we determined about customer relationships. We need to raise awareness through earned media for our online strategies. We need to get local bike shop staff to be early evangelists through samples and engagements. We need to create loyalty through sponsorships, giveaways, and continuous social engagements. We want customers to make referrals and write rave reviews, and we can offer some levels of incentives to promote this. We can also create limited run and customer color and logoed items for some larger clubs so we can build brand excitement. These will help us have a winning strategy. And now Will talk to us about our revenue model.
Thanks, Michelle. This will be a brief explanation of our revenue model hypothesis. Our interviews have demonstrated that we'll need a phased approach to growing our brand. Our most vulnerable phase of development will be success at the local bike shop segment of the market. This phase of our hypothesis strategy is the most important given the influence that local bike shops have on the cycling community. Therefore, phase 1 will be divided up into 2 parts that can be executed nearly simultaneously. It'll focus on direct sales to customers, as well as establishing inroads to local bike shops and their regional distributors. Without the local bike shops, this type of product will likely be facing a losing battle from the start. As we work to expand into this local bike shop market, we'll also need to partner with key distributors that supply these shops. This connected community of retailers will help us to create early adopters that will promote our product within cycling clubs. Phase 2, breaking into major online distribution like Amazon, needs to be timed appropriately after we have a significant following in order to ensure success and staying power at that market level. We know we need partners to be successful. Our research has indicated that the most key partner we can have will be the local bike shop staffs. The reason this is so important is because of the contact time these staff have with customers. Cyclists tend to be very tribal and often listen to what experts have to say about product options. Local bike shop staff are these experts, and they'll be our sounding board. And key to getting buy-in from local bike shop staff is by also working with distributors. And this can also have added benefits for Bean Bibs. By working with distributors, we can gain inventory tracking at the local bike shop level, logistical capabilities without investment, and learn best practices as we begin to bring this new product to market. We had to identify key resources and activities as a part of this process. We need initial capital, which requires a commitment from each of our 4 Bean Bibs founding partners. We need to hire some contractors to produce our first design to our specifications. We still need to solidify our relationships with the producers and manufacturers we've identified, And finally, we need to build a scalable marketing and e-commerce website that we can grow with. And here's how the costs will work. Freight costs were evaluated and identified from both China and Taiwan to Seattle, our nearest port. The freight logistics helped us verify our shipping size constraints and parameters as well as establish a logical batch size. Given the space occupied by our product after packaging, we established a batch size of 6,816 units to be proportioned by sizes according to data we gained from bike shop staff interviews. We also looked at multiple avenues for raw textiles to determine suitability and feasibility of different manufacturing locations. So far, our Chinese sources have the lowest cost for materials production for us. From here, we had to evaluate production, labor, and packaging costs. Min, max, averages, and median costs were determined and evaluated to create our manufacturing pricing hypotheses. The most important value here is the adjusted average cost for the minimum batch size. At roughly $190,000 cost for the first batch, it should be noted that we overestimated here. This batch could be reasonably more closer to $71,000 depending on sourcing and negotiated rates with our Chinese suppliers, whom will help us manufacture our product for about $17.10 per unit. In the end, this is what we determined. The total available market for sportswear is $125 billion. Our serviceable available market for cycling apparel is $4.32 billion. If we were to charge just $100 per unit, which is a gross underestimation of MSRP for comparable products, and capture just 10% of the available 66 million cyclists in the U.S. alone, our serviceable obtainable market is $6.6 million. We believe that we can generate revenue of nearly $500,000 in year one, that our minimum investment will be just under $200,000 to do so, and that our first year full operating requirement will be no more than $286,670. We project that our marketing expense will be about 7.5% of revenue, and that this venture would be profitable and self-sustaining within year one. As a result, we'd rate this business model a success and would say that it's a go for launch. Thanks for listening, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to any of the Bean Bibs team. Let's go for a ride.